Hockey is going to continue to represent the population that we see in the world. Hockey should look like our society, and that's part of what I'm hoping to help us achieve.
The title is Executive Vice President of Social Impact, Growth Initiatives, and Legislative Affairs. So long I almost forgot
That's
it while
a lot,
saying
isn't it? It's a mouthful.
It's
SGL.
actually,
That's
right,
the
SGL,
SGL,
okay.
right.
What does that actually mean for you on a day-to-day basis?
For my group, it's about understanding that grassroots youth hockey is a road to fandom. Hockey is not the end, it is the means to the end. And the end should be, how do we use our sport to help build vibrant communities? Kids in communities just aren't playing anymore. There's no recreation, and that's leading to high rates of obesity and other kind of chronic illnesses. So how do we get back to understanding that hockey is an important part of how we build vibrant communities? As markets are shifting, as demographics are shifting, how can hockey continue to be responsive and relevant to those shifts? And so culture is a big part of the work that I've done, and the opportunity that I see for the league. You know, there's something special about being part of the hockey family, but as I've said in other settings, when you're on the outside of that, you're sort of peering through, trying to figure out sort of how do you become part of that. And so the question for us is, how do we make that easy? How do we make the community feel more welcoming?
So far, what have you learned? How can you do that?
Getting back to some of the basics that center around the Declaration of Principles, which the entire hockey community came out with about a year ago, which basically says that this is who we are, this is what we stand for, this is us as hockey, and talking about that more in the marketplace to audiences that have historically felt like maybe hockey wasn't for them. I always say there's not one size that fits all, and so we have to be much more intentional about our outreach to audiences to make our sport more welcoming.
Culture is not just nature, it's nurture.
No, completely.
And you got a game that's been around for over 100 years and it's been successful. How do you change perceptions, minds, attitudes?
Carefully and artfully, right? So, not to be cheeky, but examples would be, you know, parts of the culture that are about being humble, and I call it servant leadership. I mean, everyone talks about the humility of the players. Well, you can still be a very humble person, but still express your individuality, right? So that those two are not incongruent. And so part of it is just helping all of us in the sport understand how we shift in a way that still recognizes and honors the past. Also helps us know that we have to move into the future to be relevant.
The Stanley Cup gave us, and really you, lots of momentum. Devontae Smith-Pelly playing so well.
Devontae Smith-Pelly.
Vegas and the way they've changed the way people see actually watching games.
The Vegas Golden Knights, if they're not the sports team of the decade, there should be a major investigation.
An expansion team will play for the Stanley Cup in their inaugural season.
Obviously a Russian captain lifting the cup and really embrace celebrating with the cup.
We're the Stanley Cup champions. Get some beers and start celebrating.
We are the champions, my friend.
For you, does that help your job a little bit?
Absolutely. I mean, there couldn't be more evidence of all that we are seeking to accomplish around SGL than what we've seen over the past couple of months. The facts don't lie, that demographics are shifting all over North America, all over the world. You know, if you look at a statistic in the United States, like, 67% of Gen Z and millennials are non-white. As one of many, many statistics that suggest to us, not just racially and ethnically, but generationally, we've got a lot of shifts, and it means that our sport has to shift and respond to that. And if you look at how Las Vegas appealed to so many different types of fans and how they did their outreach all the things that they're doing in a place where they only have a couple of sheets of ice across the entire state, and yet look at how they've gotten people engaged. And it's through all forms of hockey, looking at street and ball hockey as a way to engage families and engage kids. So yes, all of this is evidence of the thesis that we have, that we are talking about, which is that many roads lead to fandom. And the way people are going to consume our sport in the future is going to be very different, and we have to be flexible, we have to be agile and responsive to that.
There's a young woman that's watching this. What do you want them to take away from your story?
I often talk about the 3 Ps: preparation, passion, and purpose. I'm a firm believer that you should do things that ultimately lead to your personal passion. Many were shocked, particularly at this juncture of my career, that I would go into sports, like, why sports? And I said, why not? Right? There's really no difference in being in the sports industry or being in consulting or being in investment banking if you know that you have a trade and you know that you understand your level of competence. So I would say make sure that you're highly competent in what you do, be passionate about what you do, know your purpose, and always have fun.